Hi, welcome to the Trans Canada Project again. Today we're here with Abigail Curlew, who is studying sociology, working on her PhD, and particularly studying hate groups who specifically are targeting trans women, which is, wow, we have to talk about that a little bit. So she's currently undercover with a group, which we're not going to give you any more information than that, but maybe you could share with us a little bit, Abigail, what that all entails.
Yeah, okay. So I study a very particular type of hate group. They come from the realms of places like 4chan, which are areas where a lot of people take pleasure in what's called trolling for what they call the lulz. Pretty much they like tricking people and seeing the fallout from that. The more like far right politically involved trolls like to try to ruin someone else's life. Like there's a term that floats around in these communities called ruination strategies, where they try to ruin someone, make them look miserable online and get joy out of their reactions to this kind of harassment. So I spent a lot of time in like the weird and strange and mysterious fringes of the internet, with a lot of groups that aren't often seen by the mainstream. And the groups that I study specifically have a lot of horrible things to say about trans people. They find trans people's information online and then they post it in order to try to shame them into silence. And it is sometimes incredibly effective. I'm also writing a book on this that is interviewing women, both cis women and trans women, about their experiences with these groups. The book is focusing specifically on trans women because we are rarely actually studied in mainstream studies about violence against women. So I'm hoping to contribute that to the wider discourse.
That must take an emotional toll on you as well, being a trans woman and having to listen and deal with all of that. How do you handle that?
It's messy. And a lot of my colleagues around the world who do similar kinds of research feel the exact same thing. Sifting through material that's so vitriolic and so bigoted all the time takes a hit to your self-esteem, provokes various forms of anxiety and depression, and even the most stringent self-care strategies don't always work for mediating and navigating this kind of violence. But for trans women in particular, studying transphobia and transmisogyny, you have to navigate a lot of I guess like content that shames who you are as a person, that undermines your confidence in your identity, and provokes all kinds of weird feelings of gender dysphoria. Sometimes I have to just take big breaks, but really, I think it's a important sacrifice to make on my end because these groups need to be drawn out into the open. We need to find ways to resist them and fight back. And I think most importantly, we need to understand why these people do it in the first place so we can find ways to help people either get out of a hate group or encourage people not to join hate groups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So have you found any underlying motivation? I mean, people do this just to make themselves feel better, or what? How does that work?
So I'm still at the early stages of my research. For the next few months, I'll be observing. Because I'm an academic, I have to follow strict ethical protocols. So my role in these online web communities are just to observe publicly available like public spaces on the internet. So my research hasn't gone into more depth. I'm really hoping in the future that I am able to find ways to actually interview these people and find like a bridge across difference. I know that this is going to provoke a lot of harassment, but I suspect that there are some people who actually want to talk to these ideas with trans researchers and journalists. And even though it'll be painful, getting a bit of an inside look at how they view themselves and the reasons why they do what they do would be incredibly valuable. But as far as I know right now, from a lot of like people who've left hate groups and some researchers who study people who've left hate groups, a lot of people get drawn in because they feel alienated from the world. They feel alone. They feel like they don't belong to a wider group. And the thing about these far right groups is that there's a strong sense of cohesion and identity and participation. These groups tend to be like conservative, so they believe in hierarchies. They believe people have their place within a certain community. And when these people go in, they feel like they belong. And this brings them in and eventually pushes them further and further down the rabbit hole to actually harassing and inflicting various forms of violence against marginalized people.
Does your research give you any idea as trans people, when we are harassed by some people like this, what we can do about it? Are there things that we can do?
Yeah, it's incredibly complicated. I think some of the research that I'm reading right now from people who've been doing this way longer than I have pose it as a kind of question of harm reduction. The internet is a vitriolic place. There are a lot of assholes. There are a lot of trolls and a lot of people who express incredibly negative emotions on the internet. So finding ways to stop this is, I guess, one of the big questions of our era, since we're all connected, especially in the COVID days. So in the meantime, while people try to sort out the absolute hellscape that's the internet right now, we need to do things that will help us navigate hatred, help us avoid as much as possible various kinds of hatred, and find ways of reducing the harm that this does. So part of this is crypto security. Make sure you read up on like how to manage your passwords, how to protect your information on the internet. A part of this is that social media uniquely makes us so visible online. So you need to find out probably where your privacy settings are allowing people to access personal information in your life. Scour the internet for things that you've posted in the past that could be dredged up in the future and used against you, because we've all been there. We've all done embarrassing things in our lifetimes, and most of us have an entire life history on the internet. We are way more visible than what we think we are. And the other part is building communities of support across the internet and in your real life that you can fall back on when people start attacking you on the internet, especially if you're doing any kind of public work like activism or politics or being an artist or a content creator.
Producing videos.
Yeah, producing videos. Like you need to build community and you need to find ways to protect yourself. There is, if you Google it, a website called Hack Blossom. They have a feminist cybersecurity guideline that's really accessible. It's meant to be accessible to people who have no clue of crypto security, much like me. I'm not a computer scientist or anything, so the technical side is beyond me, but there's lots of resources out there. So Google around, find reliable ways to protect yourself.
I understand that you're also starting a Twitch stream. What is that about?
Yeah, so there's an entire community of people online through a website called Twitch, as well as YouTube, which are often interconnected, where folks go online to stream things. They do live streamings of playing video games or live streamings of music, all kinds of stuff. But there's also an incredible political community on there, and a lot of people, academics who are in kind of like gamer geek culture, who are doing live research that is accessible to the public, that the process of the research is visible as you're doing it, and that a whole lot of people who engage with these communities can come in and help you do it while you're live. So I'm wanting to start actually pretty soon a Twitch stream under the user handle Rogue Witch. where I will be combining Let's Play gaming and doing like weird horror games and sci-fi games, along with a political presence where I'm going to be doing interviews with people. I'll be doing live research streams that are investigatory in nature, looking into anywhere between hate groups, police violence, and a number of social issues that I think these communities can bring light to. So if watching these things are something that you're interested in, or if you want to watch me play a horror game where I'm probably going to get jump scares and scream a lot, then feel free to tune in.
All right. And so they can find you that with the Twitch handle Rogue Witch.
Twitch handle Rogue Witch, spelled ROGUEWITXH. You can also find me at my Twitter account, Curlew_A, where I'll have a link to the Twitch stream there.
Perfect. Awesome. We really appreciate you being on here and sharing some of this information with us, and we'll look forward to seeing the books coming up in the future, and good luck with that.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye now.
Bye.